In this video, I'm going to show how to solve rational equations. The big idea is that we're going to clear fractions by multiplying both sides by the common denominator. So let's get started. Here the common denominator is m minus 7 and 8. So we're going to multiply everything by that common denominator. So we multiply it by the first term, the second term, and also the other side of the equation. And the reason we can do that is we're basically multiplying it times each side of the equation, and then we're distributing that to the first term and the second term in that left side. So it basically gets to multiply by everything in the equation. Okay, now notice that we can start simplifying a little bit here. My 8s can divide out to, anything divided by itself is 1, so that just simplifies to m minus 7 times 7. I'm going to put that out in the front. And then my m minus 7s divide to 1, so on the right side I've got 8m. And then I just have a nice linear equation that I can solve, okay? So we need, the big idea is clear fractions. Great, all right, so 56 minus 7m, and then 7 times 7 is positive 49. And now we just need to get our m's all on one side, so those cancel out, and I have 15m, and 56 plus 49 is 105, and then dividing through to solve for m, we get m equals 7. However, if we look at what the domain restrictions would be, the restriction is that m actually cannot equal 7. So this is not a true solution, and so our actual solution is no solution, the null set. There is no number that makes this equation true. Okay, so our steps for solving rational equations are figure out your restrictions, multiply by the common denominator, and then solve. Let's do another one. Okay, here I'm going to factor that denominator just to be able to see what I have in the denominator, and then it can help me figure out what the common denominator would be. So let's see, 2 and 4 here. All right, so factor. Now I'm going to go ahead right now, since it's factor, and figure out what those restrictions are. So we have, if we put a positive 4 in, that would create 0 here. If we put a negative 2 right in here, that would create a 0. A negative 4, we already got the positive 4, and then these are repeats as well. Okay, so we just have 3 restrictions. And now we're ready to figure out what the common denominator is. We have 1, 2, 3 distinct terms. So that's the common denominator, okay? So we have 1, 2, oh, we have, yeah, okay, so all of them. All right, so we have x minus 4, x plus 2, x minus, or plus 4. We have to multiply that times 1, 2, 3 different terms. Okay, so we're going to multiply it times the first fraction, the second fraction, and the other side of the equation. So x plus 2, x plus 4. So there is quite a bit of writing in this step of clearing fractions, but then pretty soon in the next step we're going to have a nice linear equation. Okay, so here we go. I can start simplifying. Anything divided by itself is just 1. So I have here 4 times x plus 4, and then the x minus 4 is simplified to 1, oh, this should have been plus 4, and those divide out evenly to 1, so then I have minus x plus 2, and over here my x plus 2's divide out evenly to 1, my x plus 4's. So I'm left with 2 times x minus 4. Nice linear equation. And now we're ready to solve. Just do some distribution here, and we can go ahead and solve. So we've got 4x plus 16 minus x minus 2 equals 2x minus 8. And combining like terms, we would get 3x plus 14 equals 2x minus 8. Getting all of our x's on one side, we would get x plus 14 equals negative 8, and then just subtract out your 14, so we get x is equal to negative 22. And there's my solution, which is not part of the restriction, so it is a true solution. And if we wanted to put that in the set notation, which is kind of a new notation for a lot of people, this set notation, it just reads the set of, it's like the set of numbers that make this equation true. And if there was a couple, sometimes there's a couple solutions, we would just list them in there. So the set of solutions is just one number, negative 22. And sometimes we're asked to solve for a variable. In this case, we're being asked to solve for x. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to try and get all the x's alone on one side of the equation. So we're going to undo anything that's happening to x. Okay, so the first thing I see is I've got this divided by a. So I'm going to undo divided by a by multiplying by a, but what you do to one side you have to do to the other. So then that gives me bx plus 5 is equal to, I'll go ahead and distribute that, 6ax plus a squared y. And now I want to get all my x's on one side of the equation. So I'm going to subtract 6ax from both sides. So I've got bx minus 6ax plus 5 is equal to a squared y. And then we get anything else over to the other side of the equation. So then it looks like I can factor out an x here, and I'm left with b minus 6a is equal to a squared y minus 5. And the final step is just to get rid of multiplying by this big term, b minus 6a. I'll go ahead and divide both sides by b minus 6a. Which gives me a final answer of x is equal to a squared y minus 5 all over b minus 6a. And that is done. And that is solving for a variable. So you basically try and get whatever your variable is you're trying to solve for, just isolate it, do whatever you can to get it over by itself on one side of the equation.